When one associates flying with Jetstar domestically in Australia, you typically expect an affordable but low frills experience. More often than not, this is delivered by one of the airline's 50 Airbus A320 aircraft. Whilst no doubt the Jetstar store has served the airline's low-cost business model very well over the years, it is now these days becoming a pretty dated and unremarkable flying experience. So when I heard Jetstar would be taking delivery of the first of its new Airbus A321neo aircraft back in 2022, firmly became of the belief that this aircraft would spark new opportunities for the airline to modernise its low-cost flying experience, also to expand into newer markets in Southeast Asia and beyond. So without further ado, come join me on my first ever Airbus A321neo flight as we journey some 2.5 hours across to Adelaide from here in Perth, see what all of us about the Jetstar A321neo is really about, whether it actually does elevate the Jetstar flying experience in 2024. Today's journey begins my home city of Perth, which is the capital of West Australia. Perth is located on the beautiful banks of the Swan River, which we're now heading over now into the centre of the city. Perth's population is around 2.2 million people, making it the 4th largest city in Australia. We've just got off a Mandurah line train, which has taken us to the Perth Underground Railway Station. Now we're going to be connecting to the main Perth Railway Station, going to be transferring to an airport line train, which is going to take us to where we need to be for today's flight over to Adelaide. Unlike other Australian cities such as Sydney and Brisbane, and indeed many of the great cities around the world, Perth is late, but better late than never in terms of having an airport railway line. Transperth Airport line is actually an 8.6 kilometre branch line off the Midland line here in Perth. Construction actually first commenced in 2016 before it finally opened in October 2022. The airport line branches off at Bayswater, where it travels underground all the way to High Wycombe, the underground railway stations at both Redcliffe and Airport Central, which service both sides of the airport here in Perth. A cash ticket from Perth Central Railway Station will cost you the maximum $5.10, maximum 2-zone journey that you can pay for in Perth these days. If you're a smart rider, that will bring a 10 to 20% discount depending on the type of card you have. Conveniently, today's journey to Redcliffe's only taken us about 15 minutes from Perth CBD. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Perth Airport, or nearly Perth Airport per se. We've just got off at a Redcliffe station, which is one of the 2 underground train stations that service Perth Airport here in Perth, the old domestic side Terminal 3, Terminal 4. It's actually free public transport here through the month of January to January 28 to be precise. So yeah, first time ever getting to the airport for free on public transport. That's really, really cool. When you do get to Redcliffe Station, it is about 800 metres walk to Terminal 3 and 4. You can certainly get a bus service there, however, that connects with the train. So yeah, we're not too far from the terminal buildings now. Certainly not as convenient as the Airport Central train station for the international terminal and T1 and T2 domestic. But yeah, it's certainly doable to walk here if there's no shuttle bus at the time. The footpath's really good condition, so you don't have to worry about walking on the road or anything like that. It's a pretty usual hot summer's afternoon here in Perth, so about 35 degrees, so looking forward to getting in the terminal now. Just thought I'd take the walk today, give you guys a bit of a chat along the way. So yeah, today we're flying Jetstar, first flight of 2024. Really excited for this one. Haven't been to Adelaide in a few years now. Haven't been to Adelaide much in general, so really looking forward to it. We're flying on the A321neo. So new year, new flight, and brand new aircraft type for me. Really late to the whole A321neo game. So really looking forward to this one. Pretty well an almost brand new aircraft, so it should be really nice, clean and sleek. Certainly heard good things about flying Jetstar on them. Probably never been this excited to fly Jetstar, to be honest. We even got the Max bundle, so I've got the seats up the front, got the added inclusions, even got a complimentary lounge pass, so I can head over to the Qantas Club. Anyway, without further ado, let's now head into the terminal, get checked in. Pity you can only check in 2 hours before for Jetstar flights in terms of bag drop, so no real point getting here any earlier. So yeah, let's head in now, get checked in, and hope it's smooth. For your information, before you head into the airport terminal, today's flight with Jetstar across to Adelaide with the A321neo is going to take us across the Great Australian by gazetted flight time of around 2 hours and 50 minutes. Great circle distance across the bight today is 2,120 kilometres, cruising at a maximum altitude of 37,000 feet. Make good time on this journey, however, so it's going to take shy under 2.5 hours. For your information, Perth International Airport is the 4th busiest airport in the whole of Australia. Immediately prior to the pandemic, peak passenger numbers peaked at around 13 million yearly passenger movements. As you can see, today we're flying from the T3 and T4 precinct on the western side of the airport here in Perth. T3 and T4 used to be the exclusive home of all domestic flights here in Perth. That was prior to the opening of the T2 terminal and the T1 domestic terminal in 2013 and 2015 respectively. So Virgin Australia have now moved over there, as per much of the regional mining flights as well. Qantas Domestic has always been exclusively based in Terminal 4, but now the Qantas Group has taken over the complete T3 and T4 precinct. More specifically, we're flying from T3 today with Jetstar, which is also where Qantas's international services depart from. There's a small little dedicated customs and immigration area there to process the flights to London, Singapore, and also the seasonal flights that will be upcoming to Paris later this year, and also the return of the flights to Rome. Whilst I do understand why Qantas would have a business rationale to be holding out on the push to move its international flights to the main international terminal, at the end of the day, however, I think the sooner everyone moves to the eastern side of the airfield, the better, because at the moment it's still a 15-minute drive between the two terminal precincts here in Perth. Very inconvenient if travelling between a Qantas or Jetstar flight and an international or other domestic flight here in Perth. It's probably partly for these reasons why Qantas's hotly announced post-pandemic flights to Johannesburg barely lasted 6 months, and their flights to Jakarta didn't even get off the ground. As for check-in here with Jetstar, it's done here at Terminal 3. There's a mixture of a small amount of self-service kiosks and also manned counters. In any case, if you are dropping bags off here in Perth, you'll need to visit a manned counter. Surprisingly, on a Thursday afternoon, it was incredibly quiet here at Perth Airport. Check-in and bag drop formalities only took a matter of a few moments. Very quick, efficient and easy indeed. Friendly staff were on hand, and there was no sign that they were weighing our carry-on luggage or anything like that, so that was really easy. As we now walk past Qantas International departures, an area I would have travelled through when I travelled on QF9 direct to London back in 2019, does make me ponder why Qantas have so much hardship trying to secure new international flights here from Perth. Sure, the Perth Airport authorities and the Border Force would have made an exception for the sake of allowing the extraordinary direct flights to Europe to go ahead from here in Perth, but it's going to be a much tougher ask for Qantas to allow the Border Force and authorities to allow international flights up to Asia. So much mucking around for them, diverting resources from the main international terminal over to the other side of the airfield to accommodate it. Anyway, we're headed over to Terminal 4 and we're at the Qantas Club now. Had a few complimentary lounge invitations to use courtesy of Qantas Points Club membership. These passes generally will get you in ahead of a Jetstar flight. Just keep in mind when using complimentary lounge passes, you're very much at the low end of the pecking order. So if the lounge is at full capacity or you're travelling in a blackout peak period, you may not be able to get in. Always seem to find it a pretty bureaucratic process to redeem a Qantas lounge pass. First you gotta link it to your exact flight on the exact day, at least 24 hours ahead of schedule. Once again, when I arrived today, they couldn't seem to find it in the system, even though I showed them all the evidence that I had done so 24 hours ahead. Anyway, based on the evidence I gave them, they gave me the benefit of the doubt and let me into the lounge anyway. Anyway, what to expect with the Qantas Club here in Perth? Definitely one of my favourite Qantas clubs in the whole country. It's a really big lounge here in Perth. Very spacious, really good range of seating options. Rarely feels crowded either based on all the times I visited here. At this mid-afternoon time of day, food options are pretty limited, to be honest, mainly limited to assorted sandwiches and some salads. So yeah, I decided to not worry about that today, just get a cold beer and enjoy the best part of the lounge, which is the views. The Qantas Club here in Perth has the best views out of any Qantas lounge that I ever visited. Whilst the Qantas Business Lounge next door here in Terminal 4 is definitely unsurprisingly the more premium feeling lounge with certainly better food, if you're just after plain spotty and a cold beer, you really can't go past the Qantas Club, as there really isn't any good views at all from the Business Lounge. With such great views here from the lounge, let's have a look at today's ride over to Adelaide right here from the lounge. So this evening we're flying on a Jetstar Airbus A321neo. As you can see, taxiing into the gate here, registration number Victor Hotel Oscar Foxtrot Sierra. First delivered direct to Jetstar back in February 2023. So this plane is slightly less than 1 year old at time of taking this flight. Whilst Jetstar's A321neo was taxiing to the gate, something else might have caught your attention. As you can see here, we've got a Coulson Aviation Lockheed C-130 arriving here in Perth, presumably on a flight up from Busselton. It's here in West Australia for firefighting operations on behalf of the West Australian Government. So some very cool plane spotting here from the lounge today. Even better when you get to see such a unique former military aircraft converted into a firefighting aircraft right here on the civilian tarmac here at Perth Airport. And just like that, it's now time to depart the Qantas Club and head over the short walk back to Terminal 3. Once I'm at Terminal 3, to my shock, my Jetstar flight today is already fully boarded and pretty well waiting for me. That's despite me arriving at the gate at the time it said that boarding would be just beginning. To make matters more baffling, there was no announcement in the Qantas Club that today's Jetstar flight would be boarding well ahead of the originally scheduled time, and there was no even announcement on the boards either, which weren't even saying it was boarding at the time I left the lounge. Luckily all is fine today, but I really don't know where you'd stand as a passenger if the flight actually left without you leaving early, even though you're at the departure gate on time as printed on your boarding pass. As I'm well and truly the last passenger to board and we're well and truly ready to get going now, I think I better defer going over the seat features and the cabin information until we're airborne. So what better time now just to sit back, relax, enjoy our pushback from the terminal and our takeoff out of Perth today. Some stunning views of the Perth CBD and the Swan River as we take off out in a westerly direction. Then we're going to make a turn for the east en route to Adelaide. Once in the air, I'll then give my overall assessment of today's Jetstar A321 service.
Devices should not be placed into seatback holders for takeoff. Unplug any cables from...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, flight deck, first officer. My name's Mac, it's not about my captain, Rob Young, along with Chanel and the rest of the crew, welcome aboard our service. 975 across to Adelaide. We just passed through the main bit of weather on our route this afternoon. We're coming out of it now, so it should be reasonably smooth for the rest of the flight. Out of most of the bumps, seatbelt sign is off, so you are free to mount the cabin over. Please leave your seatbelt loose and fasten when you're seated, just in case we encounter some more bumps along the route. Got away in good time out of Perth. Got you touching down this stage 10 to 10, having the bay disembarking at about 5 to 10, about 10 minutes out of schedule. At this stage, if you want to adjust your watches, 2.5 hours ahead time in Adelaide, so it's coming up to 5 minutes past 8 in the evening. Very favorable, beautiful evening, just the winds out of the south east at about 15 kilometres an hour and a temperature of 27 degrees. I won't get back to you unless some of the details change. Trust you enjoy the final service. Do thank you to the pilots. Thanks and good luck.
Now that we're in the air and well and truly on our way to Adelaide, let's have a look at the cabin features and the seating arrangements on this relatively new Airbus A321neo. Certainly not brand new anymore, but it's still shy under a year old. In terms of the seating arrangements on the A321neo, still laid out in a stock standard free configuration. So it's a single class aircraft here with a Jetstar. It's 39 rows in total for a maximum of 232 seats. So you'll notice there's a significant increase of up to 52 seats more than the usual A320ceo aircraft that Jetstar have. Simple math would actually suggest there's 234 seats on this aircraft, but I believe 2 of these seats in the last row are reserved for crew use only. In terms of seating, Jetstar have retained much of the common theme of black leather seating, but given a little bit of a modern update. So you got slimline leather Recaro seats. So overall, for a budget carrier, I quite enjoy these seats. They really bring a refreshed Jetstar look, one that's both modern yet minimalist, functional and ergonomic. If you're sitting in a standard seat, you're going to enjoy some new features on this aircraft, include a USB-C charging ports, and also a very handy little mobile phone, possibly a tablet holder as well. This allows you to watch your own content without actually having to have the tray table open. So this works really well, especially if you're trying to dine, eat something at the same time. Today I'm seated right up the front of the plane in one Foxtrot, so my seating arrangements is a little bit different. My tray table pops out from the armrest there to my side. Unfortunately, this means it's not retractable. Well, conveniently I still have the device holder built into the tray table itself. Fortunately, this is nowhere near as convenient as a standard seat, where you get the features of being able to use it without actually having to have your tray table down. Please do correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't appear to see any USB charging or power ports in the first row either. So my advice is, if you are looking for an extra legroom seat, maybe go for an exit row seat so you can take advantage still of the full range of new A321 seat features. So in terms of seat pitch, you've got 29 inches for regular seats here on Jetstar A321neo. Roughly comparable to the regular A320, though definitely a little bit better than the notorious 28 inches that were just on the original A321s. The slimline design of the seats, however, does make them ever so slightly wider. Definitely does give you a little bit better feeling of space as well. So definitely the exit row seats are the place to be and well worth paying extra for, especially for the longer flights. You're definitely going to get an extra 3 or 4 inches of legroom there. I'm seated up the front of the plane today at the front bulkhead in one Foxtrot. So you also do get a little bit extra legroom here, but interestingly Jetstar didn't actually sell it as an extra legroom seat. Even though this side seems to have the same amount of legroom as the other side, even though that was gazetted it as an extra legroom seat. So unfortunately, if you are sitting at the front, you can't stretch your leg out under the seat in front of you because you've got that hard bulkhead in the way. So the legroom's still pretty good at the front, but it's probably not as good as an extra row seat. But for now, let's have a look at the contents of the in-flight literature pocket. So you got your in-flight menu there, the cabin safety card, also air sickness bags, and also a brochure about Jetstar's new mobile entertainment system. Anyway, in terms of menu, it's the usual Jetstar menu, which is no different to any other domestic flight in Australia. I always quite enjoy the Jetstar menu. It's not overly cheap, but it's not excessively expensive either. Probably a bit cheaper than Virgin Australia. Good range of snacks, soft drinks, alcoholic options. Light meals are mainly just sandwiches and pastries. You can get chips, noodles, all that sort of stuff. Some sweet and savoury snacks as well, and a little bit of merchandise. I wasn't really expecting it, to be honest, but it appears Jetstar now have a new stream to your own device entertainment service called Jetstar Entertainment Plus. Jetstar say they curate a range of content suitable for the duration of each flight that A321neo operates. Presumably you've got to pay for it, and all you got to do is follow the prompts there, connect to their Wi-Fi, and then scan that QR code. So it looks pretty easy, but I had no interest in purchasing entertainment for a reasonably short flight today. I do apologise, however, for not inquiring as to how much it would exactly cost. Part of the reason why I'm sitting up the front today at the front bulkhead is because I purchased the Starter Max bundle, which is Jetstar's most all-inclusive bundle that you can buy. Perth and Adelaide was a relatively cheap $165, so I gave a little bit back, $90 to be precise, which got me the Starter Max bundle. This gave me any available seat on the plane, including exit row and front row seats, unlimited flight dates and changes, 30 kilos checked luggage, 1200 Qantas points, an in-flight meal voucher or snack. In this case today I've got a $15 voucher, fully flexible fare, and also you're able to cancel your fare for a credit. I did this several times with this flight, so this feature came in very handy. In terms of exactly what you'll get with food and beverage with this so-called in-flight meal deal or voucher, they never usually say, but usually on a longer domestic flight you get 15 bucks credit, on a shorter one you get 10 bucks. On some flights they're also being known to just give you a snack and a hot drink of their choosing. For this flight I just got a couple of beers. The first one was fully covered by the voucher, with the remaining balance paying half of the second one. All in all, I've always been a big fan of purchasing the Starter Max bundle. I think it brings good value for money for what you get. Be good if Jetstar maybe just sweeten the deal, chuck in the complimentary in-flight entertainment where it is available. That would be really nice. As the magnificent late summer sun starts to set after crossing the Great Australian Bight just before we head into Adelaide, I must add the Neo's new CFM Elite A1 engines have provided a really smooth ride over today. Jetstar actually claim they burn up to 20% less fuel than the earlier A321 aircraft. They're also supposedly up to 50% quieter as well. And the combination of the new onboard mood lighting and new and improved overhead luggage bins, which store up to 40% more cabin baggage, really made this a really comfortable low cost experience this evening. And just like that, the beautiful late night lights of Adelaide come into sight. It's looking like it's going to be an absolute cracking landing with amazing views. So I'll leave my final thoughts on whether the A321 really is a game changer for Jetstar until we get on the ground. But for now, what better time just to sit back, relax and enjoy a stunning landing into the South Australian capital this evening. As we now taxi to the gate here in Adelaide, what more could I say about this evening's flight over on the A321neo with Jetstar? Overall, it was a more than respectable flight. It was a pretty comfortable one as well. And yeah, to be honest, I've actually really never had a bad experience on board flying with Jetstar. Don't get me wrong, I've had a few frustrating situations when flights have been cancelled at the last minute. You kind of are left high and dry. Very frustrating when that happens. But when you actually get on board and your flight leaves on time and you get from A to B for a very good price, very hard to complain about Jetstar. That's whether it's on a regular stalwart A320 or on a more elevated flying experience such as A321neo this evening. So more in a moment on whether I think the Neo is a game changer for Jetstar. But yeah, just going back to the Jetstar and their bundle structure and that sort of stuff. I really like the Starter Max bundle. I've taken it out numerous times when flying with Jetstar. Really appreciate all the inclusions you get. So if you are the sort of person who, you know, is already going to buy food and beverage on the plane, sort of person that's going to reserve a seat, especially an exit row seat, you're the sort of person who values getting some Qantas points, the sort of person who values getting some food and drink on board, you're really going to find good value with this bundle. Also, the ability to be able to change your fare, change your dates, even cancel for a refund credit really is unrivaled in terms of Australian Airlines offering that sort of flexibility. So yeah, I was able to really capitalise on getting a very cheap Jetstar sale fare. Actually about $100 more than what Virgin were charging for a flight on the same day. The thing is, by the time I got the Max bundle, I got all those extra added inclusions that you still would have not got on Virgin, and you would have had to pay more on Virgin for. So actually getting a lot more with the Max bundle than what Virgin would have cost for a similar price. So back to the A321neo itself, probably wouldn't go as far as saying it's a literal game changer in the aviation industry, but yeah, it certainly does bring a modern refresh to the low-cost flying experience with Jetstar. A little bit more ergonomic seating design, a few extra bells and whistles in terms of seating features, really hard to complain. Really good for Jetstar, this aircraft as well. It's a lot more fuel efficient and it has greater range. That's actually going to open it up to far more new markets in Southeast Asia and potentially further. Destinations that may not be commercially viable to operate a Dreamliner on, but possibly a little bit too far to fly with an A320. So at the end of the day, when you're flying the A321, you're still getting your usual Jetstar low-cost experience. No real surprises there. Could be a little bit uncomfortable, especially on the longer flights to Asia. But overall, I think this aircraft is definitely a win-win for both passengers and the airlines. Really looking forward to seeing this airline expand into new routes into Asia. Soon, later in the year, they're actually going to be setting up a new base in Perth with 4 of these aircraft. So they're going to be starting flights to Singapore, Phuket and Bangkok direct from Perth. The latter one's going to be up to 7 hours long. So yeah, really keen to cover one of these flights on the channel this year. So let me know in the comments below which of these routes you'd like me to try most. So I'll definitely be endeavouring to take a few long-range A321 flights in the future, where it's from Perth to Vietnam direct with Vietjet, one of those Jetstar flights to Thailand, maybe even a Jetstar flight to the Cook Islands, something like that. So leave your comments down below what sort of A321 or maybe even Boeing 737 MAX 8 long haul flights you want me to take, and I'll be sure to try and take a few this year. And just like that, we're in Adelaide, Radelaide, whatever you want to call it, city of churches. It's been a couple of years now since I've been in Adelaide. Really great to be here, a nice balmy warm night. And yeah, what more could I say about tonight's Jetstar A321neo experience over from Perth? I thought it was a really good experience. Probably didn't get to fully appreciate the A321 seating all the way out the front. But yeah, very decent flight indeed. And the Jetstar Starter Max bundle really worked dividends. Certainly can't complain. Got everything that was advertised, including a $15 meal in-flight deal. So use that for a few drinks. And yeah, it was a fairly comfortable ride overall. Seats are probably not overly that comfortable. They're a little bit hard, but yeah, pretty decent flight overall tonight with Jetstar. So yeah, great to be in Adelaide. If you do enjoy this flight review, really appreciate it. Do give it a like, hit that subscribe and bell button so you won't miss another one. This is my first flight review of 2024. Plenty more content on the AussieJetSetter channel to come now. Getting the overland to Melbourne on Sunday in a couple of days time, so that should be really good. And yeah, going to try plenty more flight reviews. New airlines as well. Should get a Bonza review, a Rex review, a few other types of reviews in as well, maybe another Beeline review. So be sure to check out that. In the meantime, you may also wish to visit my website AussieJetSetter.com.au for easy navigation to my flight reviews and other travel content. Also some written flight reviews, lounge reviews, destination guides, industry news, frequent flyer hacks, all that sort of stuff on there as well. I also wish to visit my AussieJetSetter Shorts channel and Instagram page to see what I'm doing around the world in real time. Maybe even join my dedicated Discord server for fans and community of the travel to discuss all things aviation and travel. But from here in beautiful Adelaide, South Australia, thanks so much for watching tonight's Jetstar A321neo review. And as always, happy and safe travelling wherever that might take you.